internet is probably a bit crap.
Yeah.
I just looked. I changed my microphone to the Blue Yeti. This one, the one that I'm talking on.
Yeah.
It looks like when I checked again, it said that it'll reset and it just recording it through my device. Now, if that's the case, and I spilt water on this laptop.
Yeah, could be that.
Could you do
me one favour? Could you close the blinds a bit? I know if it's going to cause any problem, don't. But it's just because I can't see your face, and I'm maybe turn. Okay, I can see you better. Yeah, and can you move the mic slightly to the side? So I like to see your face. I don't. I can hardly. Yeah.
Okay, so.
Listen, let's. Yeah, what are we gonna do? Just don't start it. Don't start it until you say. Okay, don't start. We'll just do some audience feedback.
Audience feedback.
Okay, I'll kind of do. You introduce us, the people, and I'll introduce what we're doing.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Hi. Sorry, mate. I was nervous.
Oh, you're always nervous. Why you done this a million times, mate? Come on.
Kalina's right there.
Oh, okay.
She's right there. It's so nerve-wracking.
We've got a live audience for the first time, really. So
the worst audience for the first time.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but
yes.
Who are we, mate?
Hello and welcome to the D-Trout Spinners podcast. I am your host, Miles Pennell, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Gary Forrestal. Say hello, Gary.
Hello, Gary. Oh, that's funny because I said, yeah, look, we're going to be honest here, right? We just spent about... Too honest. We just spent about 35 minutes trying to record a podcast over Skype. Obviously, we're all in this lockdown scenario, so we can't meet in person. There was an issue with the audio. We're not quite sure what caused it, but Miles has moved now somewhere else. But you couldn't hear Miles. So it was a wasted sort of 35 minutes. And Miles is technically at work from home, and I've got something quite important to Skype into. So we're not going to do a full episode. What we're going to do today, just to tide you over, and I think probably Tuesday or Wednesday we should be able to do a full episode, I reckon. We're just going to do some listener feedback because we've had lots of listener feedback over the past couple of weeks. And, Miles does all the social media stuff. I'm not. True. Yeah, he does. He puts a lot of work in. I'm appreciative, mate. But he just goes on about it all the time as well. But yeah, he runs all the social media and he sends me things that people just screenshots. And it's very nice, very, very nice. So in general, there might be people who hate it out there. But, if there is, get in touch, please.
Do you know what's really encouraging just to preface all of this?
Yeah, but just to let me finish what I do.
I allow you.
Oh, don't even start with that. I just want to say thank you so much to all of the audience. Anyone who listens, just thank you so much. It means a lot to us, but particularly people who comment as well. That really means a lot to us. So thank you. Keep doing it. And yeah, just to preface all of this, you were going to say, Mars.
Gary's often said, we've never had fans before. We've been doing radio for a long time.
Don't say that. No, that sounds... Well, look, what I said to Miles, and I was half joking, because, I haven't got any from him, but I'm sure you have. So we had a listener, FLJS90, who was really interacting with the show, and he still is, and we love you, FLJS90. You are the Dickie Anders, whether you want to be or not. You're like you're part of the fabric of the show. But he's called me a CUNT twice as well, which is quite funny. And Miles always sends it to me gleefully, like, oh, look at this. But anyway, I said to Miles, we've done a lot of stuff. We've written stuff. We've done performances. We've done stand-up and things. But we've never, for the first time in our lives, and I was half joking, but it's kind of serious. I was like, we've got a fan, and I was mainly referring to FOJS, but we've hopefully, so I wouldn't want to say we've got fans. It sounds a bit embarrassing, but I know what you mean. It's kind of like we've never had people who've been sort of interested in our work. For obviously we've done individual performances that have gone well and things, but it's
And
really
gone
nice.
badly in some cases.
Sorry.
And gone badly in some cases.
Yeah. So yeah, but maybe we'll talk about that on another show. But maybe you could bring your pictures in and we'll talk about them next week, Rick. But yeah, but we love you. Sorry we can't do a full show today, but we're just going to do this. And please, obviously, I'm sure you will. And I just want to say, I hope everyone that listens to this show is safe, is well, and not to it seems like almost everyone in the world is in some sort of lockdown at the moment. So obviously we are too. So please bear with us with things like audio quality and stuff like that. What the good thing is, we probably will put out more shows more frequently, but bear with us with the audio. We obviously can't meet, so but I hope everyone is safe.
As well.
Sorry.
Bear with us about the content generally.
Oh yeah, well the content, there's no point bearing with us. It's just shit. But the audio is at least salvageable. So no, it's great. Mars has compiled feedback from a lot of the audience, and we do like to call this XFM in the community. Oh, that's kind of a separate one, isn't it? But I've got one here from Erin. She how did she send this? Was that in Instagram?
It was a message actually.
Instagram.
Via Instagram, yeah.
She says, "Hey, I love your podcast. I'm 27 and I live in the US, so probably not the most common demographic for a radio show that aired 20 years ago, but it's kind of my favourite thing ever." And she's put a geeky face. "Keep doing it and say hi to Erin from Snellville, Georgia." Well, hi, Erin. When I first read this, I got really excited because I thought, but she says, "But it's kind of my favourite thing ever," and what I now realise she means is the XFM show. So she loves the XFM show. At first, I thought she was saying our podcast was the best thing ever. Of course, it's not the best thing ever. It's shit. But thank you so much, Erin. Snellsville, Georgia. It's nice. I've often said to you, I'd like to go and live in sort of the south of America, deep south, kind of, or maybe the East Coast. But yeah, I wonder how you're doing there in Georgia. Are you well? Sorry?
We got a follow-up from Erin, and I said basically, great to hear from you, and how did you get into the shows? Because I think that's something we're really eager to hear about the fans. Please do tweet us at Trout_D, or do get in touch with me on Instagram at Duchess_Purnell.
Just quickly, when you Miles. Just a quick point, because I was wondering, when you say Trout_D, do you mean DE or just the letter D?
DE.
Yeah, so Trout_DE. Yeah, go on.
So Erin said, I asked her, like, how did you get involved with the shows? Because you do think that as someone in America, how the hell did you come up with it? It's so quintessentially English and from a Diddy radio station, and how would you know about that stuff? It's fascinating. She said, I was already a huge fan of Ricky, so I guess I just started going down the rabbit hole of checking out everything he's ever done. And that's how I did the radio shows on YouTube. Stories, hard to pick a favourite, but I really like the one where Ricky said, I seem cool in front of his American friend, to seem cool in front of his friends when they had an American student. And Carl has 1,000 stories I love, but in particular the Carl story about the Victoria Plum doll throwing sand at crabs and his pet magpie. P.S. Speaking of tube, do we sound like we have accents to you, or is it kind of normal? I've always felt like British accents sound really cool and sophisticated. I would so much rather have your accent. Mine is boring.
Oh, well, thank you, Erin. Yeah, I mean, it's weird with accents, isn't it? First of all, actually, with your those are all brilliant stories, and it's so interesting to hear how you got into the show. And actually, thinking about it, that kind of makes sense. I think because obviously Ricky is one of the most famous people in the world. He's probably not in the top 100, but he's probably in the top 300 most famous people in the world. He's so famous that I think a lot of people probably got into the show that similar way, Erin. I think they probably like one of his films and then just went back and saw the earliest thing they could get from him, and that is the XFM shows, basically, pretty much. So that's an interesting way of getting into the show. And yeah, it doesn't seem like we've got accents at all to us, really, does it? It's kind of, but I know other people. My dad's friend Alan, hi Alan if you're listening, he went to America and he said to me, Gaz, because he's like a businessman, he said, Gaz, you go into a meeting in America and because he's trying to get deals, he said 30% of the deal is he said you get 30% of the deal straight away just because of your accent. So it's kind of, but obviously here it's nothing. But if I go to America, I'd love your accent, I'm sure, Erin, and other people's, particularly from the deep south, Georgia. So yeah, I don't feel we've got accents, but that's nice feedback. You went to America as well, didn't you? And you told me that you were buying some food or something, and they said, "Oh my God, your accent." Didn't they say that? He's eating. Mars is eating. I can't believe it. He just pointed at his mouth. I was waiting for him to respond. You better keep all this in. Do not cut this out. I can't believe you're eating whilst I'm talking. Explain who I am, Erin. Erin, explain who I am. I can't see what they are. Crackers or something. Cookies. The driest thing in the world. What not to eat when broadcasting.
Sorry.
You better keep all that in. Anyway, I was just... Anyway, Erin, yeah, Erin, thank you.
And it's so interesting to hear your stories about how you got into the show. These are the things that I'm particularly interested in myself, because everyone has their own stories, and it's very interesting in this epidemic, whilst what we're living through, how much support and appreciation people get from listening to the XFM shows. I've got loads of comments here from people saying, they got me off antidepressants, or they're helping me get through a crisis, or they're helping me. I love that.
Help you get to sleep. Help people get to sleep.
Yeah.
At night. Just having them on.
How can a radio show do that? Like, I think that's part of the beauty of radio,
Yeah, absolutely. We both love audio. We both kind of bonded. We bonded over several things like comedians and television shows, namely The Office. But we bonded first over radio. We met first, literally. We met over radio, and we both love the medium of audio. And it's interesting, but it's so nice that the XFM shows have gone so far and wide of the world, and in a tiny, tiny, tiny little way, we have as well. Like, nothing like the XFM shows. Nothing like. But I'm just saying, it's nice to have listeners in different parts of the world, and America, and it's this weird thing at the moment. We're having a shared experience. The world has never had a shared experience, so we're all almost everyone in the world is experiencing some sort of lockdown now. We're experiencing some sort of crisis because it's in almost every country.
Isn't it?
Not every country, and I know I don't want to be, because it's not in a lot of African countries. So I'm not. I don't want to sound like I'm saying, I'm not excluding them, or people in countries it doesn't happen to be in. But it's very rare to have something that the whole world is experiencing at once. So it's like, often I think, well, Erin, I'd love to know, and I still would love to know, like, what you do, like, just to know sort of the general sort of profile of someone who would get into the XFM show. But I think, wow, your experience is so different to ours. But at the moment, I'm pretty sure that Erin in some ways experiencing kind of what we're experiencing. We're both, we're not, I wouldn't say suffering. I certainly hope Erin's well, but we're both in a kind of panicky crisis. Not that we are individually, but a kind of as a globe. So we've got a shared experience. Okay. Well,
that's about something else. I just want to move on and talk about.
What did I do? I didn't say anything wrong.
No, not you. Something happened. So this is from. I want to talk about some of the other people in the community.
Could I jump in first? Because I know all of them. This is just one. I don't think we read this out last time. Jake Stoney. So he wrote first. He was replying to a tweet that you sent. Go on, try and make Metal Liquor sound like Metallica. Very good quote, good line. And then he put enjoying my newly found podcast, which is Trouty, a podcast about my favourite show. Nice to find people as sad as I am that listen to the show daily. And really nice comment. Thank you, Jake Stoney. Appreciate that. You are as sad as us. Absolutely, we are very sad. And I'm glad that you appreciate how sad you are. No, it's good. It's nice to see. And thanks for interacting with the show as well by putting in one of your favourite quotes. So that's all the comments I've got. Everything else has come from Mark. We've mate. I'll just say this: you can cut this little tiny bit out, but I've got about 5 to 7 minutes.
That's okay. So this is Joseph at Hobag 85, and we have spoken to him before. You haven't got. It says, sorry, what's that? My pearls of wisdom read out on the excellent and addictive D-Trout Spinners podcasts. I'm essentially famous. I say famous. It's D-Trout Spinners. Roughly the equivalent of standing up in McDonald's of a lunchtime, though.
Who wrote that?
At Joseph at Hobags.85.
That's a weird name, but that's a brilliant comment. I love it. Like that's very very funny. The sort of thing Dickie Anders might write. And just on that, stay tuned, because I won't say exactly when, but because we don't know, but we're going to have Richard Anderson, the real Richard Anderson, on the show. Well, yeah, as long as the mic situation is good and the audio is good, we're gonna. But I don't want to say don't say next week, because we're not sure, but it will be very soon.
This is from P.H.O. at Layerhorse2. I'm up to series 2, episode 3. It's brilliant. Can't believe some of it's 20 years old. This is basically someone who I was talking to, and someone who'd recently got into the shows and was slowly working his way through them. So they're getting new listeners in all the time.
Yeah, that's interesting, because it's like where our fan base, obviously 99, like if you had never listened to the show, we always said at the beginning we'd like obviously people who listen to the XFM shows to have our audience, but we'd also like people who'd never listened and to get them on. But it's interesting that people are still finding the XFM shows to this day, and obviously then she has quite quickly found our podcast, hasn't she? Because if she's only on series 2, episode 3 of the XFM shows, she's already I said, I don't know, because you part of that was Ho, and I know that's terrible. I didn't even know think of it like.
You said your audio issues we may be having here.
But it's interesting that the audience is still growing for the XFM show and promising for our podcast. Anyone? What's the last one? Last couple.
Thomas Mars. You haven't got that virus, have you? No, it's my wife's name.
Very topical.
It's good. I'm just going to spin through these last ones really quick, and then we'll wrap it up. Gary, in our last episode, you asked listeners times when you've listened to a song and thought of songs of phrase.
Yeah, I did.
So I'm going to spin through these really, really quickly. This is from Digsy. He says, Babushka. Yeah, but he was just playing along, though. No, he wasn't. Or Kate Bush would have said, he's playing along.
He's playing along.
I love that. He also added Carl's theory about Diana and flower companies, coronavirus and Andrex. Just saying.
Very, brilliant. Yeah, love it. Very. I
think it was in the floor behind the hit.
Yeah, we've got some funny listeners.
Yeah, loving it. This is from Yusuf again. This is at Hobags. Idiot wind or blowing in the wind.
Yeah.
This is from Nick T at Ageknat. Anything by Bion Ferry.
Bion Ferry.
This is from Charlie Corner at C Horner. Can't listen to Life on Mars without thinking ba ba ba.
Yeah, that was
what you said.
Because I heard it for the first time in about 5 years, all the way through. It got to like Mars, and I really ba. There's so many examples of that, but yeah, I who was that? Who did that?
Charlie
one?
Horner.
Charlie Warner.
Horner.
Charlie Horner. Charlie Horner. You're a man after my own heart.
Anyway, Gary, any final words to wrap this very short but sweet episode up?
Well, someone posted on Facebook. They said, and it was very true actually. Stay safe is the new take it easy. So a lot of time you say take it easy at the end of a conversation, but now people say stay safe.
Lots of people as well.
Yeah, but you still can. But I'd just say thanks so much for listening. Really appreciate it. We will be back with a full episode soon. Not sure exactly when, but within the next few days, we reckon. Thanks for your feedback. Really appreciate it. Cheers us both up. And I genuinely hope everyone is safe and not, sort of coping with whatever situation they're in their countries and some form of lockdown. It's a strange situation for us all, but it's a shared experience. So, that's what I'd like to say.
Why don't you marry the shared experience then?
You marry them. We do that.
Gary, can I just quickly do these? Before we go, I just want like a little diddy thing to strap it up.
I just did my very profound sign off, and now you're going back.
Because I'm the sort of mad guy, you never know what you're gonna get, like sort of crazy.
He wants to have an affectation. He's some he's a bit quirky, Miles, but he's not.
I sent out some of your earlier Rockbusters this week on Twitter.
Okay.
And I want to see if you can get them.
Yeah, go on.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I've got to sign into this meeting. Go on.
That felt nice on the tube.
Sorry, say it again.
That felt nice on the tube. VU.
Velvet Underground. That's
well done. That was you. Look at my collection of stones. You did this.
Roxy Music?
No,
Roxy Music or something?
No, one initial. Rock.
Rihanna? No, I don't know.
Roxette.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't think I did that one. I didn't.
That was you.
Was it?
Yeah.
Don't know my own genius when I hear it back to me. One more.
Okay, that fish has just come into the room. TC.
The
Carpenters.
Oh, that's it. That was definitely. Yeah, I remember that one. Oh,
right.
Okay. They're good. I did basically. These are from not XFM. A show that we did when we first met, and because I'd known Carl did Rockbusters, I did my own Rockbusters, and we'll put more of them out as the weeks go on. But what's your final thing to say to our listeners, Mars?
One thing to say, please do like and subscribe us on iTunes. Is it called iTunes anymore? Apple Podcasts, whatever it's called now, and on Spotify. Please do listen.
I'm still sending telegrams, mate. I don't know what iTunes is called.
Do tweet us at Trout_D, that's DE, and of course do Instagram me at Duchess_Parnell. Oh, that's a mouthful. I'm bored of that now. Take a listen to all the others and listen to Dutch or Otherwise, which is our sister podcast about everything Miles and Gary related.
Yeah, although we had a disaster with that the last time where we tried to record that as well. We're in person, but we're next to the
track record with recording generally.
Well, I'll just say the table that was beside us were not conducive to recording a good podcast. So we're scrapped.
The worst people I've ever met, mate.
No, put it this way: a lot of them were, I'm sure, were on cocaine. That's the sort of pub we go to.
Whatever gets you through this very tough period.
It's so this is like a little taster episode. So we'll do a proper episode soon, I promise. Thank you so much for your support and stay safe.
Stay safe. Bye.